Sandhya.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the fourth and final session of the wellness program organized by SVBF. For those of you who don't know, my name is Vaishnavi, and I will be managing the program behind the scenes. As always, please do keep your microphone muted at all times, and please feel free to type in the chat box on screen throughout the program to share your appreciation for our performers. So now, without further ado, I pass it on to Mrs. Sandhya to get us started for our wonderful program.
Good evening and namaste to everyone. I'd like to thank SVBF, Karamji, the Kannada Sangha for giving me this wonderful opportunity to conduct Wellness of Series program through the lens of music, mindfulness, and intergenerational approach. For the audience who have been so supportive and encouraging, I express my heartfelt thanks and gratitude. Today's session, being the last one of the wellness series for seniors, I felt it is important to highlight the fact that music is universal despite the varied languages, regions, and culture that each one of us belong to. As all of you are aware, Karnataka Sangeetam has its foundation built on two important pillars, namely ragas and talas. While ragas evoke emotion, talas maintain the rhythm. The language in which the songs are composed matters to the listener. Does it or does it not? debatable. Mindfulness involves listening as well. Composers had their moments of euphoria when they found expressions and tunes suiting the mood in which they compose music. Karnataka Sangeetam offers a variety of languages: Sanskrit, Manipravalam, Telugu, Tamil, Kannada, Malayalam. Today, Hindi bhajans and Marathi abhangs are included in the Karnataka Sangeetam genre. Lyrical beauty or the Sahitya Bhavam is of great importance, but the words will get completely transformed when one adds layers of the raga to the words. Today, I'll be singing snippets of songs or kirtanas from different languages to highlight maybe the composer's bhakti, the Sahitya Bhava, the intelligence and use of words while addressing the overall emotion attached to these songs. At the same time, one should understand that languages should not become barriers to one's listening experience of Carnatic music compositions. If the same song is played on an instrument, you still appreciate it, as the music it conveys to the flow of ragas is very impactful, despite the fact you don't hear the lyrics. A composer in the Carnatic music world is not just a tunesmith, nor just a poet, but a Vagyakara, one who integrates both the word Vak and the music Gaya in a wholesome act of creativity. So, to begin with, I'll first sing the song Teliyaleru Rama. This is in Ragam Denuka. తెలియలేరు రామ తెలియలేరు రామ భక్తి మార్గము తెలియలేరు రామ భక్తి మార్గమును 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 ఈలనంతట తిరుగుచును ఈలనంతట తిరుగుచును కలువరచే రాగని తెలియలేరు రామ భక్తి మార్గమును తెలియలేరు రామ వేగలేచి నీట మునుగి భూతి పూసి వెల నిల్చి వెలికి శ్లాఘనీయులై వేగలేచి నీట మునుగి భూతి పూసి వెల నిల్చి వెలికి శ్లాఘనీయులై భాగ పైకమా జనలోనురై భాగ పైకమా జనలోనురై రే గాని త్యాగరాజ వినూత భాగ పైక మా జనలోనురై రే గాని త్యాగరాజ వినూత తెలియలేరు రామ భక్తి మార్గమును తెలియలేరు రామ So in this song, in this Kirtanam, Tyagaraja Teliyalelu Rama, he says, I don't know the path of devotion. Men in this whole world only roam about intention all over without being aware of the path of devotion. They get up at dawn, attend to their ablutions, wear the emblems of creed, and count the beads, appearing to be spiritual and religious, but busy with their working out the strategy for making money by hook or crook. Tyagaraja had a great way to convey the atrocities prevailing in the society during his time, which holds good even till today. I'm sure you'll agree with that. That is why Sri Tyagaraja is often referred to as a Satguru. Satguru is not just a Vidya Guru or a Diksha Guru, but one who shows the path, the truth, the Sat, or the liberation. There is something in the Sahitya of Sri Tyagaraja which makes it distinct, unique, and sublime. The reason why I explain the meaning is for the audience, those of you who do not know Telugu or the first time you're listening to the composition, it would be helpful for you to understand in which the bhava comes through in the Denuka ragam. Now let us look at another Vagyakara like Purandaradasa, and he pleads with Lord Venkateshwara. In this song, he seeks protection from him and he says he's a sinner. He requests the Lord to show compassion. So I'm just going to sing a small snippet of this. Venkatesh Dayamadu Venkatesh Dayamadu Venkatesh Dayamadu Bega Begane Dayamadu ಭಾಳ ಅಪರಾಧಿ ನಾನು ನಿನ್ನ ಬಳಿಗೆ ಬಂದೆ ನಾನು ಒಲಿದು ಎನ್ನ ರಕ್ಷಿಸಯ್ಯ ಒಲಿದು ಎನ್ನ ರಕ್ಷಿಸಯ್ಯ ಮೇಲುಗೇರಿ ಪುರಂದರ ವಿಠಲ ವೆಂಕಟೇಶ ದಯಮಾಡು. So Sahana is a ragam that lends itself to express feelings of rasa such as karunya rasa, bhakti rasa, compassion, and the way in which he pleads. If you look at the senior most among the Trinity, Shama Shastri, he pleads with Bangaru Kamakshi as well. But he chooses the ragam Ananda Bhairavi. So when he sings, he says the same thing, like how Purandaradasa is asking Venkatesha to come and protect him. In the same way, Marive Ram Marive Ram Marive Mahilo Brochutaku Marive. Oh Goddess Meenakshi, please protect me. Who else is there on this earth to protect me? You're the person. If you don't, who will? That's what Shama Shastri asks. This is a masterpiece in Ananda Bhairavi. So whether you take Ananda Bhairavi, you take Sahana, all these ragas lends itself well, and the composers, the great realized souls, have used their poetic beauty in composing them in these ragas just to express their feelings. but the overall emotion is conveyed. As such, it seems an inevitable conclusion that there are deep and hidden structures that connect the ragas and compositional structures of Carnatic music to a small family of languages, and that these connections are artistic, aesthetic in nature, not merely incidentals of history or geography. Now let's look at Muthuswami Dikshitar. How can we forget him? The Sanskrit just flows in all his compositions. Govardhana Girisham Smarami Govardhana Girisham Smarami Anisham Govardhana Girisham Smarami Anisham Gopikadi Manoharam Gavitakam Sadiharam Govardhana Girisham Smarami Anisham Gopikadi Manoharam Gavitakam Sadiharam Govardhana Girisham Govinda Namasaram Gajendra Rakshana Dhiro Govinda Namasaram Gajendra Rakshana Dhiro Kavijadaram Madaram Kanakajita Sushariro Kavijadara Madaro Kanakajita Sushariro Ravi Sashinayana Vilaso Ramaniya Mukhabhasam Shivaganadi Vishwasam Shri Guru Guhamanolasam Ravi Sashinayana Vilasam Ramaniya Mukhabhasam Shivaganadi Vishwasam Shri Guru Guhamanolasam Govardhana. So he says in this song, it's in total Sanskritam. There are people in the audience who may understand that yes, it is on Lord Krishna, because Govinda, you hear the name Kamsa, you hear the name Gopika. And so with all these you put together, okay, I don't know the total meaning, but at least I know it is on Lord Krishna. Here he says, he is the essence of the name Govinda, he who protected Gajendra. He is like lotus to the hearts of poets. His body is resplendent with golden lustre. His eyes shine like that of a sun. Having a beautiful face, has endeared the Shivaganas and delighted the mind of Sri Gurugaha. So now I would like Vaishnavi to play a short clip of the same song on an instrument. So you see in the beautiful clip by the well-known mandolin Srinivas, he has played that same thing. But even though you may have not known the lyrics, but you would have still enjoyed that Hindolam bit, right? So that's how we have these kind of, the way in which the lyrics flow, the way in which the music flows, the raga takes it over. So it's irrespective of whether you understand or not, you're still able to appreciate that. Now let's look at one more song, which is an interesting raga. Sagama pasa sanida magaresa, sagama pasa sanida magaresa, நான் ஒரு விளையாட்டு பொம்மையா, நான் ஒரு விளையாட்டு பொம்மையா, ஜகன் நாயகியே உமையே, உந்தனுக்கு நான் ஒரு விளையாட்டு பொம்மையா, ஜகன் நாயகியே உமையே, உந்தனுக்கு நான் ஒரு விளையாட்டு பொம்மையா. I'm going to the charanam. அருளமுதை பருக அம்மா அம்மா என்று அலறுவதை கேட்பதானந்தம்மா, அருளமுதை பருக அம்மா அம்மா என்று அலறுவதை கேட்பதானந்தம்மா, ஒரு புகழின்றி உள் திருவடி அடைந்தேன், திருவுள்ளம் இறங்காத தேவி, ஒரு புகழின்றி உள் திருவடி அடைந்தேன், திருவுள்ளம் இறங்காத உந்தனுக்கு நான் ஒரு விளையாட்டு பொம்மையா. So many of you who do not understand Tamil may at least recognize the word bommai. Bommai means doll. So Papanasam Shivan says, am I a toy for playing for you, O goddess, O Uma? Is it not sufficient for you, for me, having undergone so many sufferings? Is it a joy for you to hear me cry, Amma, Amma? Okay, for drinking the nectar of your grace, having no place to go, I've reached your holy feet. Does your divine mind not melt? Oh goddess, for you, Undanukku. So every time he says Undanukku, that he's referring to her. Now, there's a small personal experience that I would like to share. As a kid growing up, I listened to this favorite piece of my father. So whenever I listened to it as a child, I did not know the depth of the meaning. So I would only refer to it as the Bommai song. And the Bommai Paattu, that is D.K. Pattamallamma singing that song, was a favorite, and I used to listen to it, not knowing the depth of it. But as I grew up and over a period of time as an adult, I understood the depth of the meaning because I paid more attention to the lyrics, so that more mindfulness comes. In the beginning, when children learn, they just learn what the teacher teaches, the raga, the tara, all that should come in place. And they culture the voice in the process of building the foundation. But as they grow up, they have to dwell more into the meaning. And sometimes when languages are not familiar, it's difficult. It is a challenge. So we have to refer good, authentic books to understand the meaning. So the same ragam in the Navarasa Kannada, Sri Muttaya Bhagavatar, he describes the virtue of Durga Devi. So I'm showing the comparison, how the same raga has been used to implore and ask Devi for her to show compassion. Here, he uses to describe Durga Devi. Durga Devi Durita Nivarini, Durga Devi Durita Nivarini, Durga Devi Durita Nivarini, Durga Devi प्राणाग्नि संयोगदि जनिसिद प्रणवनाद सप्त स्वर रूपिणी विनादिवाद्य नृत्यगान विनादिवाद्य नृत्यगान विनोदिनी हरिकेश भामिनी विनोदिनी हरिकेश भामिनी दुर्गा देवी. This is in Sanskrit, as you might have all recognized. So those of you who do not follow Sanskrit, I recognize the common words of Nritya, Gana, and then about, of course, Durga Devi. So you know it's about her. In the Charanam, why I sang the Charanam was, he says that she who is born out of the soul and fire, she who has the form of Om and the 7 notes, she who enjoys music of Veena as well as she dances, she who is passionate lady of Harikesha, O goddess Durga Devi who destroys all problems. So with this reference to dance, we now have to understand that music is such an integral part of all the dance forms, right? We talked about Telugu. You heard Telugu, you heard Kannada, you heard Sanskrit, you heard Tamil. What about Malayalam, right? So we have to cover the language of Malayalam because the great composer Swati Tirunal from Kerala, the Maharaja, has composed a lot of songs in Sanskrit, but including in Malayalam as well. Now, the Ragam Neelambari, it induces sleep, right? I'm not asking you to go to sleep. I hope you're all still with me. Now I have the pleasure of introducing Srimati Mala Pishreddy. Mala Pishreddy is a trained Mohiniyattam and Bharatanatyam artist who had a training in these art forms under prominent gurus in Kerala and has been recognized by the Canada Council for the Arts in the field of Mohiniyattam. She currently resides in Canada, where she continues her artistic journey through performances and teaching. She is an associate director of the Adi Shankara Academy of Performing Arts, where she teaches students of all ages. She is a permanent member of the prestigious Janak Kendri Dance Company and has collaborated with Menaka Thakkar Dance Company and Lata Pada's Sampradaya Dance Creations. She has also performed extensively across India, Canada, USA, and Mexico. She has received many awards and accolades from different art organizations across the US and Canada. Notable award is the Natyakala Vipanchi from the prestigious Vipanchi Festival in Chennai. She believes art heals and rejuvenates our mind and body, a sentiment very much needed during these current times. Before I hand over the platform to Mala Pishreddy, I would like to humbly pay my pranams and gratitude to Menaka Thakkarji, who is no longer with us today. And I know that many of you know her personally and you have heard about her over a period of time. She has contributed immensely to the art and the dance performance field in Canada. And let's just pray that her soul, her Atma, is in peace. Thank you, Mala, for giving me this opportunity to introduce you. Over to you.
My humble namaskaram to all. My sincere gratitude to Srimati Sandhya Srivatsan, I call her Sandhya teacher, for inviting me for this beautiful program, well crafted, specifically to discuss about the wellness of seniors. I believe that art heals and rejuvenates our mind and body. So when we talk about the wellness of seniors, art plays a very important role. I totally believe that everybody, whether it's a child, a young adult, or an older person, everybody needs art in their life, and art makes life very beautiful. As human beings, we all go through different phases of life, troubles, problems, and sorrows and, of course, happiness. And I think if we have art, it can be our life. The art can be dance, music, painting, anything. It'll help our life, our journey. It'll ease our life, our journey of life, and makes it very graceful. I want to talk about my mother-in-law here. My mother-in-law actually paints. She does Tanjore and Kerala mural paintings, and she's 78 years old. She loves to see her paintings on her on the walls of her house. She's very happy when she sees that. And my mother and my mother's sister, they are in Kerala. They are very much involved in an art form, very traditional art form called Kaigotikali. It's a ladies group dance. They are very much involved in that, and I often listen, and often hear my mom saying that I don't feel any pain or any tiredness or anything when I dance. But when I don't dance, I feel a little bit pain here and there. So it means that art makes us forget all these small pains, sadness, all these problems, and it gives us a feeling of wellness to our mind and body. Um, and for me, I feel the same way like my amma says. Actually, recently I had an experience like that. I had a performance recently, and 3 weeks, yeah, 3 to 4 weeks before I had COVID, and I fully recovered from it. But because of the after effect of COVID, I was very tired, and my energy was very low. And I had to do this program, and I was feeling little worried because I was not sure whether I'll be able to perform the way I want to perform. But somehow, by the grace of God, I danced, okay, it was fine. I didn't feel any tiredness or any, energy, like low energy level or anything like that. I was fine. So I think art gives us that strength, mental strength, and it gives us physical strength as well because of our mind strength. Um, Here I want to say something. No, we don't have to actually dance and sing or paint uh, ourselves. We can enjoy, other people, when they perform, when we watch other people dance, we can enjoy that. When we can, hear other people sing, we can appreciate others, painting. So we can be rasika as well. That also will give us so much of, mental strength and happiness. My father and my father-in-law actually they enjoy watching Kathakali, an art form from Kerala. It's a beautiful art form. It tells stories of Puranas. So they watch those, the Kathakali programs. They don't perform, but they watch it. They really, they feel so happy when I see them watch the program. They are very happy and energetic, and they talk about it and all that. And my father actually organizes programs like this, cultural programs and things like that, and that also gives them, so much happiness. So I think art in general, it gives so much peace and calmness to our mind. I practice two art forms, Bharatanatyam and Mohiniyattam. Now I perform mostly Mohiniyattam. It's an art form from the region of Kerala, and Mohiniyattam has its own structure and theory of movements and abhinaya, expressive acting. I would say Mohiniyattam is a very abhinaya-oriented art form, and the music of Mohiniyattam is very bhava oriented, very much bhava, because the art form is very bhava and abhinaya oriented. So music has to be bhava. And when I dance Mohiniyattam, I when somebody sings with bhavam, intense bhavam, I really enjoy dancing to their music. And for me, when I dance, the music and the lyrics both are equally important. Both are very, very important for me. Uh, I would like to demonstrate a small song, a composition of a poet from Kerala. Actually, Sandhya teacher actually suggested me this particular song, and this one is very apt to this session. It's a lullaby. It's a very famous and nostalgic song, especially for people from Kerala. It has a very soothing and calming effect, especially on children. My son actually loves this song. The song is Omana Tingal Kidavo, Nalla Komala Tamarapovo, composed by Sri Iraiman Thambi in the 18th century, a poet from the kingdom of Travancore. This lullaby he composed for Maharaja Swati Tirunal when Maharaja was a little baby, to put him to sleep. From that time until now, this lullaby made all the babies to sleep, made them happy and joyful, and made them sleep. This lullaby not only made the children happy, but everyone, the mothers, the grandmothers, and everyone. You can hear this lullaby in different ragas. Okay, but the mothers and the grandmothers of the olden times, they never looked at the raga, actually. They looked only the bhava of the lyrics. They sang in their own way. But when we talk about the raga of this song, um, there are people, who sing this particular song in only one raga, or in different ragas as a raga malika. Usually you hear it in Kurinji or Nilambari, or as raga malika. I'll demonstrate the mudras and bhavas for the first few lines, maybe 5-6 lines of this song. And I'll tell you the meaning as well. This is in Malayalam. So I'll tell you the meaning of the song as well. The first line is, so the mother is talking to the baby. So you can imagine the baby as a small little one, maybe 1 year or 2 years old. You can all imagine your own children or your own grandchildren, or yourself, as a child when you are young, when you're a child, how your mother used to sing a song for you. It can be any song. Actually, there are so many lullabies in many different languages. So you can just imagine yourself also, it'll be beautiful. The first line is, Omana Tingal Kidavo Nalla Komala Tamara Poo. Omana Tingal Kidavo Nalla Komala Tamara Poo. So the mother is saying, mother or father or grandmother or grandfather, anybody. Okay, I'm just saying mother, but anybody can think. So mother is saying, is this small little baby the little moon, or the crescent moon, or the charming lotus flower? as mothers, we all, call our children different, cute names, right? So that's the same thing happening here. The mother is saying different, beautiful things to the baby, and she's saying, "Are you this or are you that? Are you this? Are you that?" Like that, and the baby is very happy to hear that. So I'll do the mudras also. ഓമനത്തിങ്കൾ കിടാവോ നല്ല കോമള താമരപ്പൂവോ ഓമനത്തിങ്കൾ കിടാവോ നല്ല കോമള താമരപ്പൂവോ. See that moon, that crescent moon? ഓമനത്തിങ്കൾ കിടാവോ. Are you that? നല്ല കോമള താമരപ്പൂവോ. Are you the lotus flower? കോമള താമരപ്പൂവോ. The next line. പൂവിൽ നിറഞ്ഞ മധുവോ പരി പൂർണേന്ദു തന്റെ നിലാവോ. It says, is this sweet little baby the honey in the flower, or the moonlight of the full moon? പൂവിൽ, we can show like this, like a lotus flower, or we can do it like this. This is also a flower. പൂവിൽ നിറഞ്ഞ madhu means honey. Madhuvo pari purnendu full moon. Purnendu tande nilavo. Moonlight. Are you the moonlight of the full moon? And the next line. പുത്തൻ പവിഴ കൊടിയോ ചെറുതത്തകൾ കൊഞ്ചും മൊഴിയോ. Is this sweet little baby a pure coral gem, or the pleasant chatter of parrots? Puttan, red color, puttan. Puttan means new. Paviram is a gem, coral gem, and it's red in color. So, Puttan pavira kodiyo cheru tattaga kunjum moriyo. And we sometimes, we can show like this. Listen to the baby's talk. Puttan pavira kodiyo cherudattagal konjum moriyo. Next line. Chanjadiyadum mailo mridu panjamam paadum kuilo. Is this sweet little baby a dancing peacock? Chanjadi adum mailo, a dancing peacock, or a sweet singing bird? Chanjadi adum mailo cherudattagal konjum kuilo. Chanjadi adum mailo ചെറു തത്തകൾ കൊഞ്ചും ചെറു തത്തകൾ കൊഞ്ചും മൃദു പഞ്ചമം പാടും കുയിലോ മൃദു പഞ്ചമം പാടും കുയിലോ. Next one. തുള്ളുമിളമാൻ കിടാവോ ശോഭ കൊള്ളുന്നൊരന്ന കൊടിയോ. Is this sweet little baby a bouncing young deer or a bright shining swan? തുള്ളും ഇളമാൻ കിടാവോ ശോഭ കൊള്ളുന്നൊരന്ന കൊടിയോ. The last line, not the last line, but there are so many lines in this composition. But this is the last line I'm doing it today. ഈശ്വരൻ തന്ന നിധിയോ പരമേശ്വരി ഏതും കിളിയോ. Is the sweet little baby a treasure from God or the pet parrot in the hands of Ishwari? Ishwaran tanna nidhiyo parameshwari endum kiliyo. Ishwaran tanna nidhiyo പരമേശ്വരീന്ദും കിളിയോ. ഓമനത്തിങ്കൾ കിടാവോ നല്ല കോമള താമരപ്പൂ പൂവിൽ നിറഞ്ഞ മധുവോ പരിപൂർണേന്ദു തന്റെ നിലാവോ. Hope you all enjoy this performance or this talk. My sincere thanks to Sandhya teacher and SVBF for organizing this. Thank you.
That was superb, Mala. I cannot, I'm sure everyone felt the Vatsalya Bhava just flowing through your Abhinaya, the affection of the mother to the child. And you brought it out so beautifully. Often people only associate Kerala with Kathakali. Mohiniyattam, yes, but to the depths of which you made the audience also understand about the importance of Mohiniyattam, the mudras involved in Mohiniyattam. It's really very, very nice that you are promoting this and preserving the tradition of Kerala and the very, very important art form of Mohiniyattam. Thank you for spending your time and your effort in bringing the beautiful Neelambari and the beautiful Kirtanam out. Thank you so much for your time. After listening to this, now we will move on to my student, Vanchita. I'm very happy and delighted to introduce Vanchita, who came to me when she was entering high school, perhaps, and coincidentally had learnt music from my mother's best friend, Srimati Satyabhama Rajalingam in Jaffna. Upon hearing and connecting through this unique connection, Vanchita and myself have always been in touch. And she has always surprised me. I should share one thing about her, that with her intense love for music is it's so great that she surprised everyone at her wedding, and including the Nadaswaram Vidwan, because she insisted on the list of songs that he has to play at her wedding. And also, she also insisted, she literally went through all the songs on the video of her wedding as well. Vanchita has a Bachelor of Arts in Sociology from McMaster University. She has completed her postgraduate certification in special needs education at Sheridan College and has been working as an educator for children with special needs at the Halton District School Board for over 6 years. She's currently pursuing her graduate certification to become a resource consultant for families who have children with special needs. Apart from that, Vanchita is also working with newcomer families, supporting them become integrated into the new committee through Oakville Parent Child Center organization. Vanchita will now share her experiences in introducing music in her career path as well.
Thank you very much, Sandhya Auntie, and I thank SVBF for this opportunity. It was so sweet for my guru to introduce me like this. It's such an honor. And I have to say, music has been important part of my life. It's really inspiring. So I'm just going to talk to you about a little bit about what I do in my career and how it all began, my journey, and how music has helped me, just like myself, also motivate and inspire children. So I started my career as an educational assistant. That is my role to support children who have special needs in the Halton District School Board approximately more than 8 years ago. So when I began my career, my role was to support children who have special needs and who have been diagnosed with needs, and who also sometimes have diagnosis or not, no diagnosis, but they have some sort of either social or emotional, any sort of need. So in Ontario, I just thought I will mention this. In Ontario, we have a philosophy. In Ontario, according to the Ontario Ministry of Education, we have a philosophy that all children have to be integrated and included in an accepting learning environment from kindergarten to grade 12. So they will have to be accepted for who they are, regardless of their diverse abilities, needs, strengths, in a regular school system. So this is where people like myself come in. We come in to help implement strategies, ideas, and behavior plans. So, or like integration plan to help these children successfully be integrated into the classrooms, the regular classrooms with their peers to achieve their fullest potential. Now, in some cases, of course, we have accommodation or modification where the children are exempted from the class for a little while and they come back into classroom. Or in some very extreme cases, we do have classrooms where it's like a contained environment where the children go for a few years, but they still come back, because the philosophy, the core philosophy is all children should be accepted and loved and respected for who they are, and they should all have the right to express themselves and learn the similar way. So it is such a lovely philosophy that the Ontario Ministry has, and I have to mention that we're so privileged to be in Canada to actually benefit from this. And this also goes with the diversity philosophy. So how does music come into this, right? How does music and how do I come into this? So a little about the children that I work with. The portfolio of the children vary, has a wide range of children. So some of the children that I had supported in my role as an educational assistant, they have, as you might have heard of, autism spectrum disorder. So they are on the ASD spectrum. So their needs differ. Some of them have severe anxiety. Some of them have, they have nonverbal challenges. So that means they still haven't developed their languages or they're still learning. So when they are going to be integrated into a classroom where their peers have different strengths and weaknesses, how does this happen, right? So we have to be creative and we have to somehow motivate the children to come into the classroom. So this is where music came in very handy for me. For instance, I will go, I will, sort of give you some examples as to how this happened and how music came. So sometimes the children that I worked with, they had such severe anxiety because of their conditions that they wouldn't even want to go into classes. They didn't even want to come into classes because sometimes the noise level or whatever it was too much for them. So in order to even somehow bring them and motivate them into the learning, sometimes it's a music class itself where they have instruments for other students and drums and percussions and all of that. It can be a little too loud and a little scary or like a little intimidating for the children that I was with. But they'll have to come in first to be integrated, right? So how could we do that? So we had to think of creative methods to do that. So what I thought was, for a few of my students, I took some time away from the classroom and showed them some pieces of music. So I would play some Indian classical music, some different types of music that caught their attention, that caught their curiosity, that they were a little relaxed and they were kind of intrigued and they were curious. So when they had the curiosity, I captured that and slowly got them into the classroom. So we slowly immersed them into the classroom with their regular peers. So again, as I was telling you earlier, the philosophy of this curriculum is that we accept children and we build meaningful relationship among peers. So it is not just tolerance. It's just not tolerating. No, you have to be accepting everybody for who they are and build those relationships in a meaningful way. So as you know, the children have varied strengths and abilities, right? So these children with anxiety, they are already having their fears and doubts about themselves, and the other children also, when they look at them, it's natural that it's a little bit difficult for children to see the strengths, right? So how did we bring that upon? So when these students were slowly integrated into the classroom, that is the children who have ASD or anxiety or sometimes emotional difficulties too, I showed them the music piece, and now they have learned about it. They had something meaningful to contribute to their peers. So this was showcasing their strength. So they have now, when I showed them, for example, what I did was I showed them little pieces of Carnatic music concerts. So they were very interested in the drums, the percussions. They were very interested in that. And they really liked it. And it was a different style because they were not used to the style of sitting and singing. So that was very new to them. And the expressions. So I allowed the children to pick, like, let's say, because they were interested in the percussion, I allowed them to pick one of the percussion instruments. And we did a little research on it and played a little blurb of like Ganjira music. And they were able to do a little presentation to their peers, to their classmates. So this was a great factor because now the classmates saw that their friends had something very unique to present, and this was very very, very interesting. They haven't seen this. So this is again seeing the child for their strength rather than something that that is a weakness or like a barrier, right? So they were able to see something very unique in this children. So that was a great point of bridging. So music here was a great bridge point. And in another scenario, some of the students that I was working with they were taking severe medication because these children had a lot of emotional irregulations and mood disorders. So they might sometimes be very aggressive or sometimes very withdrawn. So they were taking medication. And due to the fact that they were taking medication, sometimes they were very lethargic, they were tired, and they had to function in a different pace. And we had to respect that. We had to respect that and we had to accommodate to their needs. So, and sometimes even when your body is telling you that, this is happening to them, they're tired because they're children, right? We can't forget that they're children and they're struggling with a lot of ability to even understand what's going on, right? So sometimes they struggle. I saw them that they were struggling, not knowing what to do with this particular aspect of tiredness in their body. So in this case, what I did was we have facilities in the school where in the school itself we have quiet rooms or snooze-in rooms we call them, and it's a very nicely lighted area with very low lights, dim lights. It's very calming, and we have very calming lights there. So I took my students there and I played them a piece of Sahana on instrument. I remember particularly with the student, I played a little piece of Sahana on the veena. And when the student heard that song, raga, Sahana, as you know, it's a very soothing, calm raga. As Auntie Sandhya Auntie sang Venkatesha, it was very soothing for us, right? It's very calming. So, and same as Neelambari also, and Purinji also. So I played Sahana, I remember, and I noticed that this child was able to sort of pause and listen. I could see the body calming very slowly. And then she went quietly to the mat and she just put her head down and she was listening. And the next thing you know was she was actually rested. And after a while, like after about 15 minutes after, when she woke up, the change, she was very ready. She was like very calm. She was able to talk. She was able to reason. And then she came over to me and she's like, that was beautiful. What's that? So now she was interested in the instrument and she wanted to know about it. Oh, can you show me a picture? What is this? So how is the string? How is this played? So she was very interested in it. And again, so this now gave her another piece to go and share with her friends. So again, you see that music has been a nice, soothing, calming mode for the child. And now she also came out with something to share with her peers, right? So another time that I use music often is as a redirection tool. So how you redirect behavior. So you sometimes see in a classroom, when you're managing a classroom, you sometimes have very hyper behavior, right? You have like high energy levels. It could be for any students, even if a student who has special needs or anybody, right? And you notice that there's a lot of energy. The classroom, it's very difficult to pay attention. It's difficult for them to pay attention. And even the regulation in the classroom, they're running around. So to calm that, to bring that down, what I used to do is luckily for us in Ontario now, most of the schools are very technologically equipped. So we have like speakers in the classroom and they have facilities to play music. So I use this thing called a rain stick. The rain stick is this nice piece of African bamboo with little pearls inside it. It makes this beautiful sound. It's actually like rain falling, literally like rain falling. So I use that instrument to sort of capture their attention. When I play that, I notice that all of the children pause. They first pause. So when they're hyper, they hear the sound and they pause. So when they are paused, I play calming, soft songs and play soft music, very classical music. And then they're able to listen. And then I tell them, we're going to close your eyes and we're going to breathe in and breathe out, picturing a flower. So with the music, it helps them actually regulate their body energy level. So which was great for them then to come back and be able to listen. Then they were ready to listen, because when they are hyper and when they are very high energy, they're not ready to listen to any instruction, right? So at that point, there's no point of us speaking on top of that. Like imagine like, a group of children, naturally, they're going to play, they're very hyper, they're very loud, and they're running around. And us on top of that as educators, if we're going to raise our voice, there's no purpose, right? So you first get their attention through music. At least this was working for me. And then when they were I got their attention, then I played these calm music, which made them ready to listen. So this was another example of how music came into play. And another thing that we do is, again, turn anything into a song. So for example, sometimes we, when the children are not busy, engaged in doing work, and now we have to transition to another activity. Let's say it's lunchtime, right? When children are very engaged doing work or playing, trying to get them to another activity is very difficult because it's another change, right? So particularly for children who have special needs, it's very difficult because it's a change. So you have to get used to that. So for transitions also, we use music. So what we do is we have these little transition songs. We have songs to give them little prompts that this is coming up. So one example would be like, we always sing the cleanup song. So we'll go like, clean up, and we'll sing that song. Or sometimes we use bells. So I have these nice bells like we use in our puja room. So I take those bells, and then chiming those bells itself is like a very nice transition piece for them, that they're able to move on to the next activity. So they know the cues. So these were some examples of me being able to use music with children who have special needs. And what I was able to notice was, one is that they found something that could actually speak to their energy level, their bodily needs, whatever was going on, and they were able to calm. The music was able to regulate depending on a very calm raga or like an upbeat raga. And the other thing was, they were able to learn something that they could go back later and connect with their peers and share. Sometimes you also get students who are just simply not motivated to go to a task, or like, they're just bored. They feel like they don't have the right amount of energy to go and do something, especially if it's outdoor activities. Sometimes children hesitate to do that, right? So what I used to do is I used to play like Swagatam Krishna, because it has this nice upbeat Moganam Ragam, and then it's like it has this nice upbeat rhythm to it and the tone to it. And then they feel very energetic. So then they will go. And so these are examples of using music in my experience working as a special needs educator. So in my current role as a newcomer settler, what we do is we help families come into the society, and we help them integrate. So one example I want to conclude with this little anecdote. So I had a family who, she came from a new country, and she already had a lot of questions about settling into the community. And her son had a very, he was on the ASD spectrum, and he didn't want to be part of the session. He just wanted to keep running. So she was very hesitant and worried about it. So I said, you know what, it's okay. Let him play, let him be in his comfortable place, wherever he feels is right. Then when we started playing the music and we were sharing songs, I could see that he was able to listen, and he slowly, gradually came in, and he was part of the circle and he was dancing. So the mother who saw this was overjoyed, and she was very happy, and she was very pleased. So that is again another successful thing that I'm still being able to use with the newcomer families while using music and integrating them. So as I conclude my anecdotes and stories and my experiences using music, I want to share a Tirukural. And this Tirukural has been written by Tiruvalluvar. Tiruvalluvar was a Tamil scholar who lived around 300 BCE. That is approximately 2,300 years back. And he wrote a lot of Tamil couplets. So they were all like two sentences, and he wrote 1,330 of them. And so one of the Tirukural says that something about one of the senses that's very valuable. Okay, so Tirukural goes, Selvathul Selvam Sevichelvam, Achelvam Selvathul Ellam Thalai. So இதனுடைய மீனிங் என்னன்னா, first I'll tell in Tamil, then I'll tell in English. So அதனுடைய மீனிங் என்னன்னா, நம்முடைய செல்வங்கள் ஆகிய 5 செல்வம் இருக்கு இல்லையா? We have 5 senses. We can see, we can taste, we can hear, we can smell, we can touch, right? So அந்த 5 புலன்களையும் செவி செல்வம் வந்து மிகவும் தலையான ஒரு செல்வம். அதனாலதான் நமக்கு 2 செவி கொடுத்திருக்காரு இல்லையா? அண்ட் பிகாஸ் நம்ம கருவுல இருக்கிற போது 7வது மாசத்துல இருந்து that's the first sense that we hear. அண்ட் அதுக்கப்புறம் கூட நம்ம கூட கடைசி வரைக்கும் வரக்கூடிய ஒரு புலன் வந்து செவி. சோ இந்த செவியில வந்து நம்ம கேட்கிற விஷயங்கள் வந்து நல்ல விஷயங்களாக அமையணும். So what the meaning is that out of all of our 5 senses, the hearing sense, right, of all of our senses, the hearing sense actually develops in the mother's womb during the 7th month, right? That's why they do Seemandam or Valakapu and everything. And similarly, it is also one of the last senses to be with us when in our latter stages, right? So therefore, Tiruvalluvar says that this is a very precious sense. It's a very valuable wealth that we have. So may all the things that we hear through this be positive ones and good things, nalla vishayam, and good things, right? So music is a blessing that we all get to enjoy through our ears. So with that, I want to thank Sandhya Auntie. Thank you very much for this opportunity. And I want to thank SPBF for this opportunity as well. And thank you.
That was such a deep and very, articulate presentation, Vanchita, of your experiences, of your teaching skills, and how you incorporate music in educating the special needs kids. I wanted to bring this to everyone's attention, how she mentioned about those instruments used for the children, especially the bamboo stick, which produces, sounds like the rainfall. During my experience volunteering for the senior homes, there are many seniors who are cognitively impaired. There are the unfortunate ones that these kids, when they grow up, if the situation doesn't improve, they'll have more complexities as they age. So, can you imagine how these people have to age? How blessed we are and fortunate that we have all our senses right. But for these children and for these adults who live in these homes, especially in institutionalized settings, it is so important to incorporate music therapy. And when I was personally a witness to this in the home, which was there in Mississauga, how these musical instruments, even if they're not able to hear, even if they're not able to articulate, just holding those sticks, holding those jingles in their hands gives the vibrations much needed for as a therapeutical experience. So Carnatic music, the veena which she expressed, how and the bells that she's mentioned, and the drumming. The drumming is an integral part of music therapy in many, many institutionalized settings in Canada. Thank you, Vanchita, and I hope and pray that you continue music as an alternative when you're teaching your kid. Thank you so much for your time. Now we move on to the caregivers. The caregivers of such special need people, they need a lot of, calming music as well. So this brings me to that, the Punjabi Community Health Services, which began in July 1990 as a community development project. It's a non-for-profit charitable health service organization. One of the many services, I wanted to inform this to the audience as well, offered at PCHS is a Sahara Geriatrics program, which strives to empower, support, and educate seniors to improve their quality of life. They provide a number of senior care programs. Manjeet Kaur Sahota is a respite care worker and a personal support worker at PCHS. She's multi-talented. Now we will just watch a small snippet of a song that she has to offer for us today. Video, please.
मधाणिया हाईवे मेरिया डाडिया रब्बा किना जमिया किनारे ले जानिया है हाईवे मेरिया डाडिया रब्बा किना जमिया किनारे ले जानिया है छोले बाबल तेरे महला विचों सत रंगिया कबूतर बोले है बाबल तेरे महला विचों सत रंगिया कबूतर बोले है लोई बाबल तेरे महला विचों तेरी लाडो परदेसन होई है।
We just had to show you a snippet of this. Those of you who do not know Punjabi, what did you feel while listening to this Punjabi folk song? It's a traditional folk song. You thought there was a little bit of pathos there, right? There was a little bit of sadness, unlike the usual Punjabi folk songs that you have listened to. In this song, she describes the irony of the situation. The girl is married and she is going to her in-laws' place. And so she describes this relationship between her father and herself. She says, you brought me and you took me by my hand, but now I've been taken to another house by another person. And I'm leaving my parental home after this marriage. And she says, my siblings who played with me are now sending me in the palanquin. So there's so much of a meaning there. She's feeling happy, but yet sad that she has to leave her parental home. Now, this is in the language of Punjabi, which you and me may not, many of them, the audience may not understand. I'm not presuming it, but I'm just saying on the call. So I chose a segment to give you the connection that music can convey a lot of emotions, and with mindfulness, if we listen to the melody and try understanding the lyrics, we will appreciate the true fact that music is universal and it helps you understand that feelings and emotions are felt the same way, irrespective of differences in culture, language, or religion. So it's so important to incorporate music into everything that we do, even if we're as a listener or even as a performer. So now I'm very pleased to hand it over to Vaishnavi, who's going to say a few words and going to introduce the presenter, the much awaited Veena performance by Sri Ashwin Anand.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you're enjoying so far. Before we have our final performer for the night and of this wellness series, I want to take the time to thank SVBF and Kannada Sanghav on behalf of all the students from Ganavarsini. Sandhya Aunty and I have had an incredible time sharing with you and learning from you over the past 4 sessions spanning 2 months. And music is an incredible way to connect with one another, and we sincerely hope that you have all found the sessions enjoyable and informative, and we hope to organize similar sessions for you all again very soon, hopefully in person. So now, without any further delay, I have the pleasure of introducing our final guest for the night, Sri Ashwin Anand. Sri Ashwin Anand is a student of Sangeeta Kalaratna late Professor H.V. Krishnamurthy and Sangeeta Kalanidhi Vidushi Dr. R. Vedavalli. He has been a regular performer in leading sabhas all over India and is currently an A-grade artist for AIR. Mr. Ashwin is the recipient of the CCRT Scholarship and the Department of Culture Scholarship from the Central Government of India, and his notable achievements include the Bismillah Khan Yuva Puraskar by the Sangeet Natak Academy and Chimta Foundation Award from the Madras Music Academy. Mr. Ashwin believes in bringing out the nuances of vocal music on the veena and follows a true Gayaki style. Mr. Ashwin, who is a postgraduate, currently works as a senior electronics engineer in Toronto. Now, without further ado, I invite you all to listen to Mr. Ashwin.
Namaskaram to all. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. I extend a very warm welcome to all the audience, to the distinguished artists present, and many thanks to Vidushi Sandhya Srivatsan for providing me the opportunity to present my views on this interesting topic. Being a Vainika, I think I've been very privileged to learn this most ancient instrument from a young age. The Veena has, being the most ancient of Indian instruments, it has played a pivotal role in the evolution of Indian music itself, particularly Carnatic music. And there are various aspects of music which have evolved hand in hand pretty much with the Veena. If you think of the great composers, particularly the trinity of Carnatic music, that is Sri Tyagaraja, Sri Muthuswami Dikshitar, and Sri Shama Shastri, they have brought out the gist and the main rasa of every raga in the form of compositions, and it is always the endeavor of all us musicians to understand these and to kind of do the sadhana that is required to bring out these nuances in as best a possible manner as we can. And this is like an eternal quest for every musician. And while we do this kind of introspection and our own practice and through the knowledge of which is handed down by our gurus, what we understand is that there is a large effort that is to be put in as an instrumentalist to bring out various nuances which are very probably more aptly expressed in vocal music, but it is possible to bring out many emotions and the nuances of our music through an instrument like the veena. Like I mentioned, the veena itself is is key to the evolution of Carnatic music, and the gamakas and the sancharas that we use today are largely derived from the veena. I must also mention here that a number of composers have themselves been Vainikas. For example, Sri Muthuswami Dikshithar himself. Um, Having given that introduction, what I wanted to do today basically is to showcase a few compositions in some popular ragas, but the ragas I have chosen are kind of similar to each other in terms of the scale. There is not much of a shift, but there are a few key notes or swaras which change between them, which can lead to a very dramatically different listening experience. So, to start off with, I will present the raga called Bhauli. So, this is a janya of Maya Madhva Gaula, and the scale is Sarigapa Dasa, Sanidapa Garisa. This is considered generally an auspicious morning raga, and it is usually used to convey the awakening of the Lord. So examples of this raga are kritis in this raga are in Sri Tyagaraja's Melukovaya, and also the kriti which is popularized by Srimati M.S. Subbulakshmi, that is Sriman Narayana, which is a composition of Annamacharya. So I'll just present Bauli, and then after that I will just play a snippet of the next raga and then talk about it. So after Bauli, I switched just two swarams and we get the classical raga, which is Mohanam. So as we can see very clearly, there is a distinct change in the overall feel of the raga and the appeal it has to the listener. Mohana is a raga that has all the classical gavakas. As we may have noticed in Bauli, it has majorly a concentration on flat notes, whereas Mohana is very heavily embellished with gamakas, that is oscillations. And there are many compositions in Mohana which are, which describe the glory of Lord Rama, and such as Mohana Rama and Annupalamta and Bhavanuta and so on. Now, next, when we shift the scale a little more, we get another raga, which is Shivaranjini, which is again another popular raga, which is primarily used in lighter compositions. But just by changing one note from Mohana, there you can see a drastic difference. So I'll just show that. And then I'll play a composition in Shivaranjini, which I'm sure everybody has heard. Next, another pair of ragas which I thought I could demonstrate is Varali and Varali is there is a kriti in of Tyagaraja where he displays he portrays the angst and the sadness that he is feeling, and he is asking Sri Rama to rescue him. And this kriti is Eti Janma Midhi in the Raga Varali. And I will contrast this with another raga which has a very similar notes, again shifted slightly, with Amrita Varshini and the popular Kriti Ananda Amrita Karshini. So you will notice the definite difference. Another thing to note here is that the Kala Pramana, or the pace at which the composition is played, also makes a big difference in the emotion it's trying to convey. Switching. Mute my mic. So this is how we can bring out some of these nuances on the Veena. Since we are talking about the Veena here, I want to quickly go through another aspect of Carnatic music that has been derived pretty much from the Veena, and it is very unique to the Veena. That is called a Tanam. So Tanam is actually a form of expansion of the raga through a Madhyama Kala. And on the Veena, it is special because we use the Tada strings extensively in the Tanam to kind of enhance the Madhyama Kala and also in between the interlude of the two swaras. And while the ragas usually when we sing an alapana, we tend to use a lot of gamakas. In the Tanam, we bring about a different flavor of the raga in terms of using more janti verses and those kind of sancharas. And we generally do a lot of permutation combinations of picking a particular space in the scale and then expanding on that. In vocal, the usage of the Ananta Shabda is used is very important while singing the Tanam, which is how we get the name Tanam. And the construction of the Tanam is similar. It is said that it is kind of similar to how the Ghanam is recited in the Vedas, where a particular shloka is recited in different combinations and different orders. So a Tanam has a similar concept where we take a few swaras at a time or a particular phrase and then expand it in different ways in the Madhyama Kala. And it is a very lilting experience for the listener. So I shall now present a Tanam in the Raga Shankarabharana. Another thing which I should mention here is that in the case of Tanam, it is also very popular to present a Raga Malika within the Tanam itself, where you have a main Ragam and then you have a few other Ragams where you can switch between them dynamically. So that again adds an additional flavor to the Tanam itself. Oh, switch ಮಾಡಿ. Thank you. So that was a Tanam in the Shankarabharanam, and in between, I moved to Varadi and then Sri Ragam, and then concluded the Tanam back in Shankarabharanam. So I want to conclude with the Mangalakara Raga. So usually for any composition, any kacheri, we end with Shri Raga or Surati or Madhyamavati and a Mangalam. So today, to end my recital, I shall perform the popular Kriti of Purandaradasa in Madhyamavati.
Thank you so much, Ashwin. It has been, it's not at all just, it's not justified, especially the time limit that I gave you. Within that, it's not justified to bring out your talent. People want to listen to you more and more, and I'm sure we look forward to you playing live, and we'll all be there to, hear you and enjoy your music. You're such a fine, talented Veena Vainika. And thank you so much for sharing your depth of knowledge in terms of how the ragas differ and how they contrast each other, and just by a change of a particular note, and the description of the tanam. Everything was so well put, and thank you so much for your time. Truly appreciate it. And for those of you who do not know, Mr. Ashwin Anand came here in 2018, if I'm right, and he was introduced. I really thank my friend Usha Padmanabhan, a senior disciple of Srimati Vedavalli, to have introduced him to me. So I know we've never met each other still. So we're looking forward to meet each other in person. And I'm sure all of you in the audience will be delighted that, to hear him live performance. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank SVBF Paramji, my dear student Vaishnavi, who has always been so supportive at every beck and call of mine. She's been very, very helpful. And there she prepared even this thank you note for everyone, because in every session we had a variety of people, starting from Dr. Raghuraman, Subhash Srinivasan, Alana, Srimati Sabita Chari, Tibishan, Srimati Vasumati Nagarajan, Arya, Srimati Nirmala Sridharan, Shraddha Ganesh, Dr. Sudha Subana, Sri Vinayak Hegde, then Srimati Mala Pishri today, Mrs. Vanchita today, Mrs. Manjeet, and Sri Ashwin Anand. What could I have done? How could it would have been possible without the support of all of these people, especially Mr. Pavan Rao for his tech support, Mr. Prashant Subana, the president of Kannada Sangha, the student volunteers at Gana Vashni, Mr. Ravi, the tech support, it always, they say, you need the team. You need a team, and the teamwork is what matters the most. And I thank each one of you. And I'm really humbled by all the depth of knowledge that each one of you have shared during these 4 sessions. And I've learned so much in this journey. Thank you, Shubhratri, and good night.
Thank you very much, Sandhya ji. And what a grand conclusion of these 4 sessions. These 4 sessions were unbelievably well organized and well presented. When we approached Sandhya ji about 3-4 months back, all I told her is 2 words: how can the music help seniors? And then I left it to her to figure out what needs to be done. What a grand organization she has done during these 4 sessions. She brought in so many experts, so much entertaining and informative sessions. She truly conducted this program like a university professor. And I don't think anybody could have done anything better than what Sandhya ji did during all these sessions. We discovered new artists, new experts on various fields, and new ways how music can help both young and old and disabled and so on. So Sandhya ji, on behalf of SVBF and Kannada Sangha, I truly thank you very much for organizing these 4 sessions. And I really want to thank all the presenters Sandhya ji mentioned. Uh, she had almost 4 or 5 in each session. And I want to thank them all for spending their time and effort in helping us putting this program together. And of course, Vaishnavi, she did a superb job, and we could not have done this program without her diligence and real interest in both in music and this kind of programs. So thanks, Vaishnavi, and thanks to all the presenters. And I want to thank Kannada Sangha and especially Prashant, Kannada Sangha president, for co-sponsoring and helping us in putting up this program. We hope this is only the beginning of our venture into music and how it can help people, and hope after a short break, Sandhya ji will come back with more and more programs for us, for SVBF and for the community, and hopefully it will be live and now and then we can meet in person and she can help us much more. So, and I want to thank all the attendees, participants once again, and take a short break, and hopefully we'll be back in just some short couple of months. So thank you and good night.